Again, they won with that card. So Kenya was number one in the entire continent. But the media was not in Brazzaville. We didn't have a minister. We didn't have a PS. I actually raised this issue when we had a meeting with the head of public service and secretary of the cabinet, the media. Can we be positive about what happens in this country? Do not just focus on the negative things. As a leader, Kenyatta University and Dedan Kimathi in 2020 developed ventilators after the COVID outbreak. What happened to those ventilators? The issue has died out. Why? Because there is no support. In July 2017, if you look at the KP website, they published an innovation by Dr. Peter Ogot from JKU Art. Why don't you grow the plant there? Because it is easy to manage and it has market. Now that has died. Now the point is this, that unless we come up with support to innovators, the world is driven by science. And if you want to know how that true it is, when the COVID pandemic, and I hope that we are going to have another pandemic, because that to me was an awakening call. That is only the governments that had invested in science and technology that were able to deal with the pandemic. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, and we are going to pray very hard for no COVID. Thank you, Dr. Gishuge, for quite some insightful information. I'm going to move over to Amei to just give us some remarks regards to youth and innovation and entrepreneurship. Karibu.
Hello everyone. Everyone calls me Kakari, which is my grandfather's name, because they feel my family is a hard one, so you can still call me the same. So for me, I hated being a teacher or a lecturer, so we interact. The topic is the same about commercialization of youth innovation and entrepreneurship in the space of technology. I did economics in the University of Nairobi for 2 years, my coursework, and then I did my passion, then I graduated after the 4 years are over. So my elder sister used to tell me, you have to be 70 years for your research work to be felt as long as you're in Africa. So I used to tell her, I'm not doing economics because I want to follow the old system. But I can start impacting lives right now. And that was the reason why I crashed my program. I started non-stop. I used to do exams after exams for 2 years. So as researchers, young people, there's a very huge gap, just like work creation in most African countries. There's a huge gap for old researcher and upcoming ones, which we feel like it's something that when we're talking about getting funds to sponsor research activities, we should also talk about this young girl, a young boy in the University of Nairobi, who graduated last week, and they want to be big researchers like Dr. Kirene. Most of you are doctors here and professors, but how long will it take them to be there? Now that, I think our generation is lucky because we already have leaders here around. We don't have to go abroad so that you find someone who's done a PhD, you're here around. So how are you going to bridge that gap that I don't have to have a PhD for you to see my way of research as a young person? And because we feel like young people, everyone gives us an option always. You come up with a solution, you're told you have purpose. You go get purpose, you're told the opportunity is over, or you're talking about another topic. So as researchers, which policies are you putting in place so that these young innovators who are coming up don't get stuck? the fact they have passion in going with something else because of the wasting their time. So from 70, 60, 55, they come back and say, well, I did economics and statistics. I can do some research now because I'm old and I can get those grants and it can be hard. So that's the big, I think the big elephant that even from our side, we usually go even to high schools and see those innovations and stuff like that. There are young boys in our primary school in Kirinyaga. They are able to solve the problem that engineers in this country and Chinese couldn't solve in coastal region. There's a project that's going to start 2024 next year. There's Aphrc very vehicle that is carrying something on top of it, let's say other vehicles on top. It cannot pass because there is a gap that there is an imbalance. But those young boys and girls, the six of them, they will need to find a solution and they will need to take them to the states. The government is a very good business. And they took the idea and never don't need to study, but you will be part of the project, you will get the funds that the engineers will do, and they are going to be measured, and if their parents allow, they can get scholarship and go engineering in the better schools. So those are the small steps we are doing as a good organization to ensure that we don't just sit and go to someone who doesn't really impact this talent to the full potential. Because our slogan is providing sustainable solutions to challenges facing our communities. So we will see the background of how the 17 SDGs were brought about is to provide the better life for everyone who has it. But as we speak right now, we're learning that the reason why Kenya's Center for Kenya Climate Innovation Center, KNCAC, is in struggle, and the government gave it, budget of 5 billion, gives it, and the rest of the other giving is wrong. It's because people feel like climate change is the only reason. One of those researchers who are doing things related to climate change, one of those young people who are innovative ideas which are going in climate change space, are we going to tell them your knowledge and ideas are not good enough because they're not related to climate change? Or is the researchers are going to be strong enough and they're going to open where it comes from and say, hey, we want to solve that funding. It's not only about climate change. Climate change is one SDG, is interlinked with other five, but if we're fighting for good health, it's also important. Because even if you have rains and you are not healthy, you cannot farm. That means poverty is not eradicated. So those are the areas like I will wish us in the next 5 years, we see research papers based on researching things that are local issues, but locally close to. Because I was even talking with someone yesterday who is from the USA and wants to go academically into using Aphrc and forestry. So his vision is big, but I was not seeing how he's going to solve a Kenyan problem that we are facing right now. Because when I go back to counties and we are talking to young people there and talking to parents also to give their children a benefit of the doubt. Because most parents say, I took you to the university, you're not doing a job, you're telling me you're being an innovative thing, I'm not supporting you anymore. So sometimes they are like, I just can't talk to my daddy. So I have to go there and confronting their family to go to the university. But the pain that God gave him is much bigger than that paper that he has. So just support him a little bit. Be patient. So what I was saying is that most of the time while we feel like there's a huge gap between young people who are making vision with researchers because the researchers focus on global issues and how they solve those things globally, and they forget that we're living here locally in Kenya, in Nairobi, in the 47 counties. So we want to involve these young people that are innovative ideas which are in business space, in agricultural space, in health space. We research it, yes, it's a global topic, like health is a global topic, But what is the pressing matter right now in Kenya? It's not relevant. How are, for just an example, how are these innovative people getting a space that in the research area, instead of focusing on taking bank and whatever, they're focusing on the habit idea, then you put it on paper, and I have Professor Michael as my mentor, is going to look through it, and is not going to tell me, this is not a research paper, and throw in my face. He will sit me down and tell me, okay, I see your point that they are missing gaps, but I'm gonna take you through. I know we are all busy, but it's very important to mentor the young generation. So back to the few points that I have, is that to foster good innovation and entrepreneurship in research, we hope that this is the areas when you will put more efforts, it will be beneficial to both the upcoming generation, the ongoing generation, and the ongoing generation. So the first one is creating a supportive system for incubation spaces in different institutions. The good thing idea with TUC is an institution. They can decide to designate one of their building to be an innovative research center related to technical innovations. And then I know the President Slavi, President Nairobi is the chairperson for Kenya, which is Kenya Innovation Agency. But that doesn't mean another university not to have the same facility. Because we have so many, we are 68% of the population young people. So the University of Nairobi alone and starting our academic enough for us. And in this same space, we will have researchers to localize these opportunities. Let's not only focus on universities that are urban institutions that are in urban centers. Let's go down there to Masemana University, Kebabili University, Kilingana University.
That's quite impressive for a youth. Maybe as I invite Dr. Huwaida Mulhan.
Sounds like you were really practicing that.
I have. So as we start up, maybe just to highlight that we had a youth research academy at Aphrc, and it had brought together a number of young people from Nairobi, and they went through a whole year mentorship, and they got up some grants that enabled them to conduct some actual research work. They went through writing a protocol, writing a proposal, going through the criticism and everything, being able to amend it and get it to a document that could be utilized for research, which was quite good. So I think it's a call to the people in this room to be able to partner with the young people, because out of those ones who are in that academy, most of them have been able to pursue a higher education. So over to you.
Interesting discussion in the morning and lots of questions for industry. So we're expecting that